Well, it just seems to get bigger and better every year. Time today for the 5th annual Muscle Car Masters right here at Sydney's Eastern Creek Raceway. There's cars, there's stars, there's plenty of fans here on the hill and here behind the grandstand. So let's have a look and see what's on today's show.
Coming up, we've got a jam-packed program that features the BMW Touring Car Masters. The Group C and A touring cars are in action again, and plenty sideways they are too. The monsters from New Zealand, the Central Muscle Cars are back in 2009 to wage war with the Aussies. There's more and more famous Australian muscle cars and very famous stars here on Father's Day 2009.
Let's have a look at the venue, Eastern Creek Raceway. 12 turns and a bit of a mixture here, Marco, for a variety of different cars to shine.
Tremendous changes in track elevation, different campers on the corners. It really is a track that rewards the good handling cars.
Let's go racing. The BMW Touring Car Masters. It's race 2. The mother's in car will be with Jim Richards, with John Bowe. And we've reversed the top 8, so Jim had dramas in the first race. He goes to the front row of the grid, and John Bowe starts from row 4. But it's all about the big banging V8s on the run to turn 1.
Richards, beautiful start off pole position. He took advantage of that. Leads this big field through turn 1. Cement dust down there. There was an oil down in a race earlier in the day. And that's what all that dust is there, but the field manages to come through cleanly.
Tony Edwards, great start in the HQ hold, and this is the mother's in car with John Bowe. Gavin Bullis up in front in the Trans Am Mustang, the reigning Touring Car Masters champion.
Look at how busy John Bowe is here. You're riding with him right in the thick of the action, mixing that top 8 around or reversing the 8 top grid positions. Really creates a big job for these faster cars coming through. Here's John Bowe. Replay of the start. And he got away beautifully, but look at this. Very, very narrow, and getting narrower all the time. He has to pull out. He's got to be careful too, because that's Tony Hunter in front in the HQ, and Tony owns the Camaro that JB's driving. Don't want to upset the boss. Mother's in-car camera, John Bowe, working very hard in the Chevy Camaro. Gavin Bullis, the reigning BMW Touring Car Masters champion, ahead of him in the red Mustang. Oh, Steve Mason, former category champion as well, so there's plenty of quality in machinery and drivers here. Characteristic John Bowe driving position. It's never changed, has it? Very close to the wheel. It's almost a hunched style. That's how he gets maximum traction on the steering wheel.
How's this? Jimmy Richards charging on. Matt O'Brien is not. The Monaro has expired down at turn 1, and so the safety car will be brought onto the circuit.
Yeah, he's dumped a ton of oil there. Here's the Lexus safety car, the GS450H, Australia's first performance hybrid, making its debut at Eastern Creek this weekend as it peels off and the race restarts.
Jim Richards leads them back to the control line, and look at the yellow Porsche in there. Greg Key has had a great run so far, but he just can't match the V8s.
Come down toward turn 2 once again, Jim Richards. Tony Edwards doing a terrific job in that Monaro in second place as a result of reversing the top 8 finishing positions. It puts him right up with this lead bunch. He's hanging in there. John Bowe has found his way past Steve Mason, a distinctive blue and white Chevy. So now he's got Gavin Bullis clear in his crosshairs.
Group 2 cars fighting through. There's 2 groups within the BMW Touring Car Masters. This was the move from John Bowe around the outside at turn 2. Jim Richards leading, coming under pressure now from Brad Tilley. The big GT Falcon is starting to move through the order, but anyone in the top 5 is in the mix. But there's smoke from the Tony Edwards HQ.
Well, this is the last lap. Oh, there's more than smoke. Look at that. He's going to peel off. We saw a little bit of smoke coming from it. It got very bad very quickly. So Tony Edwards, unfortunately, has to pull out.
And it could have got very, very expensive as well. Jim Richards leading the way. How many times have we said that over the years? This is the replay of what happened with the Edwards car, just starting to smoke. But Richards is away.
And he's going to do it too. These cars behind him have got a lot more power, but look at Jimmy. He's going to hold on to this, or he's under attack. Can Tilley get him on the line? No, I don't think so. He's going to run out of time. And Jim Richards takes victory. A great win there. In the Falcon Sprint, ahead of Brad Titty, Gavin Bullis, John Bowe and Steve Mason, all the way down to Greg Keane in 8th spot. A great battle.
Great stuff from the Bianchi Touring Car Masters as always. Their Kiwi counterparts will be on track soon. Well, there's plenty of anniversaries at the Muscle Car Masters this year, and it's the 30th anniversary of this car, the VB Commodore, the exact car, and what Peter Brock determined in 1979 is potentially his greatest ever victory, better than any of his 9 Bathurst crowns. This was the car that won the Repco reliability trial around Australia. It was a massive torture test on both man and machine, the competition debut, in fact, of the Holden Commodore. Over 1,400 kilometres spent every day for 14 days. So that's over a Bathurst 1000 every day for a fortnight, and on terrain that was certainly very punishing. Peter Brock, Noel Richards and Matt Phillip behind the wheel of this very car. It was as big a test of man as it was of machine, and it was this very car that's been untouched since the finish of the event at the Melbourne Showgrounds in 1979.
Get 3 cars home, 1, 2, 3, an event like that has to rank with any motorsport success anywhere in the world in any type of event, whether it's circuit racing or rallying or whatever.
On the Muscle Car Masters, the Kiwi boys are back. It's the Central Muscle Car category. We'll check in on the 40th anniversary of the GTHO Falcon and catch up with the legend, Alan Moffat.
One of the innovations at the 2009 Australian Muscle Car Masters was the Castrol Legends Dinner, where guests Jim Richards, Freddie Gibson, Colin Bond and Harry Firth got together in front of an audience of several hundred to reminisce about the old days of touring car racing.
Well, we missed out last year, but the Central Muscle Cars from New Zealand are back at Muscle Car Masters this year. In this category, it's a case of pretty much anything goes. Cubic inches wins out. These cars, well, they're big, bad, and very nasty.
Decided to pull the rules back, drag cars out of other classes, sports sedans type classes, and form our own muscle cars with a few more freedoms than what's normally allowed in historic type racing.
After a cameo appearance with the Kiwis in 07, an underpowered Paul Stubber vowed to return, this time with a 700 horsepower Kiwi kicking Camaro. Stubber will race in NZ, but wants to win on home soil.
That is correct, mate. It's a good Chevrolet power, and it's built to their rules. We're just going to go over do the whole season and see if we can bring it back.
To add some spice this weekend, a special Trans-Tasman race will be between the Aussie Bianchi touring cars and the Kiwis. Despite the stricter rules of the Aussie runners, there's plenty of talent in the ranks.
Oh, everybody's really, really excited about it. I mean, chance to run against people like Jimmy Richards and John Bowe in such a high-profile event. Everybody's really excited about it.
Their regulations are a little bit more open than ours, you might say, but the speeds of the cars seem to be, reasonably similar. So it'll be a great race. We stirred them up last year, and they took it really well. The rivalry between Australia and Kiwis is alive and well. Don't you worry about it.